Here we are with my old friend, colleague and Hall of Famer Steve Flink from Wimbledon, and it was Tuesday, 8th of July, and we had some interesting matches. I would say probably almost more the ladies' matches than the men's, because, well, Carlitos Alcaraz beat Cameron Norrie, and there was no match. 6-2, 6-3, 6-3.
Yeah, you know what? You know when the match ended? Early in the first set, because Alcaraz Norrie had held his serve and then went to love 40 on Alcaraz's serve in the second game. Once Alcaraz held there, I mean, he had complete control of the match pretty much from that moment on.
It was the last British on still competing, and probably the public is a bit disappointed.
Yeah,
but,
well, they were excited with that early opening that Norrie had, but then it was Carlos's most sterling performance of the tournament by far the best he's played.
Yeah, then they had Draper. They were counting on Draper seeded number 4. And of course, there is not anymore somebody called Andy Murray, who won this tournament twice.
Yeah, exactly. And Alcaraz was determined to keep that crowd as quiet as he could. And he attacked a lot, Ubaldo. Lots of serving and volleying, particularly in the deuce court. He did a great job of pulling Norrie wide to his two-hander, coming in behind that serve, volleying into the open court. Served averaged 125 miles an hour plus on his first serve and hit a lot in the 130s. And he was unbroken in that match. It was a great performance.
And I would say it was a better match, the one that Aryna Sabalenka won versus Laura Sigmund, 4-6, 6-2, 6-4. I always say that Sabalenka is unpredictable because she may complicate her own life, losing the first set, and then but then she comes back.
And she had a very tricky opponent there in Sigmund today, the 37-year-old, because Sigmund had beaten Madison Keys earlier in the tournament, and she's on a roll, and she just slices everything, Ubaldo. It gives you no pace. It's you don't get any rhythm when you play her. And poor Sabalenka trying to generate the pace. You know how much she likes to slug, and she didn't get that chance today. And it came down to the wire in the third set. Sabalenka served a double fault when she had a chance to hold for 3-all, got broken, and then Sigmund had a game point. She had a chance to go up 5-3, and Sabalenka was able to fend her off and finish off the match. But it was what she would call, what Gilbert would call, winning ugly. She had no other choice.
Yeah, and there were 2 American players playing on court 1. First, Taylor Fritz versus Karen Khachanov, and he won 6-3, 6-4, 1-6, 7-6, and after he won the first 2 sets, everything seemed smooth.
I was over there watching at court 1 the first 2 sets, Ubaldo. I thought Fritz would surely close it out in straight because he was having no difficulty holding his serve. The first set, for instance, in 5 service games, he lost 5 points, and then he had a similar ease holding in the second set. Lost the third 6-1, it turned out, because of the blisters. But from a breakdown, he got into a tiebreak in the 4th set. It went to 4 points all, and Fritz won the last 3 points from there. So he did a good job to avoid a 5th set and to not waste any energy. And Khachanov played a good third, but he was helped a lot, I think, by Fritz being hindered.
Yes, while Fritz had won the first 2 matches of the tournament, both in 5 sets, and he was taking a lot of chances when he played Metri Pericard, because he was down something like 5-1 in the 4th set in the tiebreaker.
Yes.
And then he was able to win that tiebreaker. Nobody would have bet on him in that moment.
It was a gutsy effort. And then to follow it with another 5-setter, then he eventually went 4 sets with Fokina. It was only in the last round where he got a reprieve from Thompson, who had to retire at a 7-3 love down. So it was good for Fritz to win this not too long, around the 2.5-hour mark, to get it done in 4.
Yeah, and then after him, we saw Amanda Anisimova beating Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, and 6-1, 7-6, but in the tiebreaker they were 11-9, and Anisimova had already 2 match points on 5-4. Then she had to save 3 consecutive set points to Pavlyuchenkova, who was up 6-3 in the tiebreaker. Then there were 2 more match points, and the 5th match point was the decisive one.
Yeah, no, it was a good effort. Obviously, Anisimova wanted to avoid at all costs going to that 3rd set. She's a more informed player this season, so I think it was a fitting outcome in the end that she got it done in straight sets.
Yeah, and so now we have to talk about tomorrow. And tomorrow we started at 1:30 British time with Andreeva Bencic on center court, and they never played. Like they have never played COBOLLI and Djokovic. What do you expect?
Hard time calling the women's match because, as you say, they haven't played. It's the wily veteran Bencic. It's Andreeva, who's really a superstar in the making. I guess I'm going to say Andreeva in 3 sets. Djokovic, COBOLLI. I'm going to say Djokovic in 4 sets.
Yeah, but COBOLLI did surprise Marin Cilic in the previous match, and he won in 4 sets.
And he beat Mencic, which was such a good win in straight. He destroyed Mencic in straight sets in the previous round. Mencic won Miami this year.
Yeah, he won 6-2, 6-4, 6-2. I mean, and everybody is surprised about
and Mencic
COBOLLI.
is such a great server. To break him that many times and take him apart in straight sets, that impressed me. And then it impressed me that he followed up with a win over Cilic. Cilic was on a roll. He'd beaten Draper. He'd beaten Munar. I thought he was the favorite going into that match. So I'm not selling COBOLLI short. That's why I'm giving him a set. I just think Djokovic is experienced, and he's going to be very determined. He wasn't happy with how he played against Alex de Minaur, and he felt that de Minaur made him uncomfortable with a lot of backhand slices and a lot of depth off his forehand and a lot of returns back in play. So I think Djokovic is determined to get off to a great start against COBOLLI, and he'll be going all out to win in straight. But I think COBOLLI is talented enough that he can steal a set somewhere along the line.
Yeah, COBOLLI is now virtual number 19. And, he's probably counting on the warm weather and maybe a long match that could, create some problems to Novak Djokovic.
Yes, but I agree, Ubaldo. But my thought on that is that it's the actual pattern of play, the type of tennis they're going to play, I think will be a little bit more to Djokovic's liking than the de Minaur match. Not that COBOLLI can't surprise him at times, but I think the rallies and the heavy hitting, I suspect that Djokovic will like that more.
Yeah, on their court, center court, on the court 1, we will have Swiatek Samsonova 4-0, the head-to-head all to Swiatek, but they never played on grass, and the grass is probably the worst surface for Swiatek.
Well, so we thought before this tournament. Now she's starting to look like a pretty good grass court player. I think that one could go 3, Ubaldo, but I still like Swiatek to win the match in 3.
Okay, then we have Shelton Sinner, and today there were a lot of debates because we didn't know how he is the elbow of Jannik Sinner after the problem he had versus Dimitrov. He was quite lucky to win that match because he was behind 2 sets to love and 2-all in the third.
Yes.
When Dimitrov made him an ace, and then he broke
right down on the ground.
Yeah. And Darren Cahill said just a few minutes ago that Sinner has practiced for 20-30 minutes on an indoor court. I mean, everybody was waiting for Sinner on outside court because he had booked a practice court at 4 o'clock, but he didn't go. There were 20 Italian journalists, more or less, hoping to see Sinner and checking the shape of Sinner, but they play mysteriously.
What's that word? Decoy? Decoy, because I think they knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't want to see you. They didn't want to talk to you. I suppose it's because Sinner's not quite sure how he's feeling and they just want to let him to be left alone. But we're going to find out soon enough once that match commences against Shelton, just what kind of shape Sinner is in.
Yes, they have played 6 times, 5 wins of Sinner versus Shelton. So Shelton won the first one in 2023 in Shanghai, and then he lost to Vienna in Indian Wells, in Wimbledon last year 6-2, 6-4, 7-6, in Shanghai 6-4, 7-6, and then again this year at the Australian Open 7-6, 6-2, 6-2.
You just put your finger on the key element, Ubaldo, seriously, because the first match, the win that Shelton had was in a final set tiebreak. Since then, he's been beaten by Sinner in 5 tiebreaks. He hasn't been able to win one. That's going to be the key to any hope that Shelton has tomorrow, in my view, assuming that Sinner is fully fit, is that he's going to have to find a way. They're likely to get into at least one tiebreak, maybe more than one. He's got to hold his own there. He's got to win at least one of those tiebreaks to have a chance to win that match.
And then he has such a powerful game that this could create problems if Sinner is not completely fit with his elbow.
Yeah, so I'm going to give my call, and then I want to hear yours. Sinner, 7-6 in the 4th set.
Okay.
4.
I would say that either Sinner wins in 3 or he will be in troubles.
So does that mean he loses if he doesn't win in 3?
He could lose if he loses one set, because I don't think he's confident. He's a bit hypochondriac, and when he loses one set with this, Shelton, he would think that he's not fit and he may lose.
Okay, well, good. Then we slightly differ, because I do think he can get it done in 4, or maybe not in 5 necessarily, but certainly in 4. I think it's going to be maybe their best match yet.
Okay, thanks a lot to our friend, old colleague, good friend and Hall of Famer Steve Flink. See you tomorrow.